am back. I am back. I am back. I am back. I am back. We are starting in 2 minutes. It's been a while. I think it's been a month since it's been season one, and it has been going successful with season one, and we are heading over to season two. We have yet more and amazing people that we will be interviewing. We have about 1 minute. Hi Slum Kid, thank you for joining. We have about 1 minute. We have Q&A live in the building. We have Q&A live in the building. Yeah, today we are flying virtually to South Korea. I am so excited. I'm excited. We are flying to South Korea today. Yeah, we have 1 minute left. So, goodness guys, Cape Town's weather is cold. I just arrived yesterday and Cape Town is super cold. There where I was super nice and hot. But anyway, we are in season 2 today. Hopefully all of you guys are ready. I'll just go ahead and pin this quickly. Okay. It's 1 o'clock, guys. Welcome to Q&A Live with Kristen Block. I am back and I am excited to be back, and I am looking forward to the rest of the amazing interviews we're going to be having for season 2. Welcome again. Welcome. The show is brought to you by the Creactive Magazine and powered by Shades of Chill. So today we are flying international today, all the way to South Korea. We are flying virtually there. So yeah, we are going international today, and her name is Rahel. She's an actor, musician, model, and a busker. I'm gonna go ahead and see if she's in the building. Hi, Confidence. How you doing, Confidence? I like that name. Hi, Uzi Funjani. Hey, Bape. Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. We are just waiting on our guest for today. We are waiting on her so that we can get started. Let's see if she's live, if she's joined the live. Okay, we're just going to just wait on her for a couple of seconds. But yeah, guys, please do stay tuned. This is season 2. Please do come along on this journey, as we will be interviewing amazing people for the month. And yeah, come along and join us. Hello, Alessandro. Hi. Okay, we have Rahel in the building. I'm gonna go ahead and go live with. Okay, I'm sending Rahel a request. Hello, how are you doing? Can we just move back a bit?
Hello.
How are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm good.
Looking forward to this.
How are you?
I'm good. Just a bit cold in the Cape Town. A bit cold, yeah. But
it's winter there.
Yeah, it's winter, but it seems as if it's almost over because it's mostly sunny here. How's it in South Korea though?
Rainy season. I'm going to put my headphone in. There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can do that because I'm doing the same for better sound. So how is things going on that side?
Oh, rainy.
Is it?
Just like a flood. I mean, it's been
Very
raining
well.
it's summer season, hot and humid, and raining like crazy
Hmm.
here in Seoul. I'm in Seoul, so yeah.
Yeah, man. I wish
Yeah.
that sounds so lovely and cozy. To have some rain and it's flooding.
It's actually, I don't mind rain, but it's hot and humid, very
Yeah.
hot. I have thank God this year I have a air conditioner. Last year I didn't, and it was
Good.
terrible.
Oh, well, that sounds lovely. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us today for today's live. I know it's about 7, 8 o'clock on that side, and it's like 1 o'clock for us here on this side.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I think let's just get into it then. Let's get into it.
sure.
So we all know that lockdown, the pandemic has taken over, during this time. How has it been affecting you and your creativity and your work in this time? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're all affected, obviously, by the COVID, by the coronavirus. And for us here, it started already in January.
Hmm.
But we never had a lockdown situation. We
Hmm.
were never really confined to our homes. We were told to wear masks
Hmm.
and use sanitizer and keep to very clean um, habits. In general, Korea is very clean, and they take care of cleanliness very well. So they
Hmm.
provided hand sanitizer everywhere you go, in
Hmm.
elevators and escalators, in every building, in every, even if you're at a bank, every clerk has a hand
Hmm.
sanitizer there. So it's very available, and we stick to that. We always wear masks every
Hmm.
time we go out, but we never were quarantined, sort of in the way the rest of the world seems to be doing it. We were never in
Hmm.
lockdown, but they have closed
Yeah.
large venues for large gatherings, and as well as clubs where many people might be in close connection,
Hmm.
and um, sort of places where there were large gatherings, they closed those
Yeah.
down. Um, Really for that. Although I did attend a theater show once, and that was very, very guarded with, make sure everybody wears their mask all the time, make sure
Hmm.
their temperature is checked, make sure they're using the sanitizer. So
Hmm.
it really depends on the venue and how well maintained, how well serviced they are with all of these things. But we've been able to walk around, and although work has been interrupted, of course,
Hmm.
because of you can't, some large corporations, they had to adjust their work schedules or close
Hmm.
down for a while temporarily. But we've still go out socially. We go to restaurants. We go to cafes. We go shopping,
Hmm.
and mostly it's affected, I think, income. Businesses
Yeah.
economically
Definitely.
has been hard hit. So
Hmm.
for me, as a musician and actor model, that lifestyle is difficult anyway
Yeah.
for uh, for earning money. But our jobs have become more scarce between, and
Hmm.
although we're still working, um, some is canceled or postponed, and so
Hmm.
it's been difficult. It's been
Yeah.
difficult, but more so economically than any other way. We're not
Hmm.
locked in our homes, or
Hmm.
the Korean government has very strict restrictions, but people here, I think they've been through it already. This is my first time, but they've been through it already twice before, so
Hmm.
they know how to behave in such a situation, and they follow the rules,
Hmm.
which makes a big difference. They're
Yeah,
not
no,
opposing the government or something.
mm. Yeah, it's really,
So
everybody has to just adapt to this new lifestyle now, and it's crazy. Also, in your own words about the whole COVID-19 and lockdown, in your own words, like, what do you think, like, about the politics around this whole COVID-19 that's going on?
it's very hard to tell. I tend to believe, that it's not a hoax, that it's not some kind of conspiracy or something.
Mm.
I tend to believe that we should do what the government says.
Yeah.
Um, but again, in Korea, we're not feeling such a restrictive kind of lockdown. We can still sing, we can still lead a semi-normal life. So,
Mm.
um, as far as politics, go, I know from my friends in America how
Mm.
difficult it's been, and it's been highly politicized, the whole situation. And, because of the coming elections. So there's you know, all these things going on
Mm.
politically. I know in other countries, like where I used to live in Israel, also there are some kind of um, opposition to it, suspicions. People aren't sure what to think
Mm.
after all this time. I mean, we're already 8 months living like this,
Yeah,
and
time
I can't
flies.
say I love it, but there are some good things about it and some bad things about it. I mean,
True.
on the other hand, if you don't look politically, if you kind of look spiritually,
True.
I think it's really fascinating and
Mm.
even hopeful in many ways that
Mm.
people are finding new ways to get along,
Yep.
new ways to communicate.
Mm.
And the thing I find most interesting about this whole situation is that everybody in the whole world
Mm.
is is dealing with this. We all
Yeah.
have the same situation, and I think that it's a first time that the whole world is experiencing the same
Mm.
thing at the
Mm.
same time, which
True.
I find in some ways almost miraculous. I
Mm.
mean, when have we ever had a situation like this?
Never.
And thanks to never. So we really don't know what to make of it. You
Yeah.
can go political, you can go spiritual, you can go any
Mm.
way you want with it. But I think I'm curious to see how we change our lives, how the
Mm.
kinds of changes we make, and how we learn to get along
Mm.
respectfully and happily with each other under these circumstances.
Yeah.
And it also shows us what are our values? What
Mm.
do we value the most?
Mm. Mm.
We've had to question that.
Mm.
So I see some very interesting good things
True. I
as well
agree.
as the challenges,
It's been, but it
you
has been
know.
a bittersweet time during this time. But I feel like a lot of positive things has happened to every one of us individually, because we really have been getting to know ourselves during this time. So I truly agree with that. So let's I wanna get to know you now for a little bit. Who is
Thank you.
Rahel, and tell us a bit about your upbringing.
Okay, so I'm 66 years old now. I had a birthday on July 27th.
Oh well,
So my life
happy
has kind of,
birthday.
thank you. And it took me a while to say that age, that number, because I just don't feel like I'm
Mm,
that old. I've
mm,
reached that age because I don't feel old.
yeah.
Most of my friends, except for the friends I grew up with and my steady friends that I knew from being a mom and raising children and all that, we're all pretty much the same age, but we all don't feel like that.
Yeah.
We're very active. We don't feel when I think of 66, I think of my grandparents and I thought, oh, they're so old and they're,
Mm.
fat and ugly, but we're we don't feel that. But so I was born and raised in America.
Mm.
My life has kind of gone in cycles of 11s and 22s. So I feel like I've just completed my third cycle of 22 years,
Mm.
sort of cycle. And so I was born and raised in America. My youth and childhood and teenhood was pretty much in America, where I
Mm.
did the normal things. I went to school. I was a teenager. Um, my I grew up sort of influenced by the late 60s and then the 70s. I'm really a 70s child. The
Mm.
hippie movement, the Woodstock era, the
Mm.
folk music revival, the changes that went on politically there against war and the Vietnamese War and other wars about all sorts of protests. We were big protesters then, demonstrators when
Mm.
it really made a difference. Um, but I kind of joined blindly. I was kind of too young to really understand what I was joining, and I kind of just went along with the crowd.
Yeah.
But I went traveling during when I became 19 until 22. Um, I worked as a taxi driver in Boston, which enabled me to
Oh.
have my summer times free. So I was able to every summer just take off and travel. So I traveled with a friend, and eventually I ended up in Israel,
Hmm.
which started my second cycle of 22 years. And in those 22 years, my life changed considerably.
Hmm.
I was discovered as a musician.
Hmm.
I was interested in music, and I went to a folk club, and Mr. Bruce Brill, if you're watching, discovered me, pulled me up on stage playing the banjo, which I could hardly play, and turned me into a folk performing folk musician. And I immediately was immersed into the folk music scene in
Hmm.
Israel. If you can believe, there were a lot of English speakers there, so we kind of became the Anglo folk society. People
Hmm.
from any English-speaking country. That would have been America, Canada, South Africa,
Hmm.
Australia, New Zealand, any English-speaking place, European countries. We all gathered together and played music, and so my music career really started in Israel
Hmm.
for the first 11 years, and then I got married. I had children. I got divorced, and then
Oh.
I went. I went back to America. It was meant to be only 4 or 5 years, but it turned into 20 years.
Oh, wow.
My kids were younger, and when they grew up, I wanted to go back to Israel, but they said,
Hmm.
"No, let us finish school here, and then you can
Hmm.
do what you want." So, so I listened to my kids,
Yeah.
and I was in back in America. I tried to continue my music career. It was a more difficult there, and it morphed into sort of recording a lot of albums
Hmm.
rather than performing a lot. It was more difficult to earn a living performing, so I did a lot of odd jobs and recorded more than performed, which
Hmm.
was kind of nice. I ended up with a lot of recordings. And then 2 years ago or so, my children were already gone and grown up and living their own lives. I have a daughter in Israel and a son in America.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, my ex-husband in England were scattered everywhere.
They all
And
literally scattered.
I think we live in all over the world. So,
Hmm.
um, oh, before that, well, I was contacted by um, a man in South Africa through
Wow.
Facebook, Mr. Future Moyo, and he is the musical director of a group called Amivavani A Cappella. They're
Mm.
a vocal group over where you live in Joburg,
I
and
mean,
I ended up making a trip to Joburg with my son, and we went for 2 weeks, and we collaborated musically, which was fantastic,
ah,
and I got to see Joburg in South
mm,
Africa, which was I really wasn't on my mind to go traveling at that time, but that was a wonderful experience.
yeah.
And then it sort of got my mind kind of my little travel itch awakened,
Mm,
and
mm.
I decided that with my children grown and nobody needed me, and I found myself kind of alone with a cat. I thought, now's the time. I'm getting older. How much longer will I be able to actually stand on my own 2 feet and travel? So
Mm,
I sold my condo. I sold everything, put everything away in a storage unit, and took off traveling with no particular plan
ah,
except to experience that freedom again of being free
mm,
and going wherever the wind would blow me.
mm.
And that's how I ended up here in Korea. I
Okay.
don't know how that happened, but and that's where I am now. So as I begin my fourth cycle of 22 years,
Mm,
I am starting out here in South Korea.
mm.
I don't know where it's going to end. I don't know where it's
I
going to go.
mean, you have been, following your instincts, and I'm sure you're a spiritual person, so it'll definitely, lead you into the right place, you know. Tell us about
Thank
what
you.
inspires you, like and your and the work that you do? Like, what inspires you? Yeah.
Um, Mostly my life has been with music, around music,
Mm.
doing music in one way or another. Times when I really had to focus on earning a living, I had to branch out and do other odd jobs, but I tried to keep it within the range of what I can do musically in the music career.
Mm.
So I've taught. I really started in early childhood education,
Mm.
and I started teaching musically to young children as early as newborns who were 6 weeks old.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, that was fascinating. A woman named Miss
Mm.
Barbara Cass-Beggs from England and Canada taught me her
Mm.
method, which is called Listen Like Learn, and Your Baby Needs Music. And I became her. She said, "You can do this. You're going to do this." And so I did
Mm.
what she said, and did that for about 15 years in Israel. And then I wanted to do something different,
Mm.
and I it wasn't sure where I would go. I was performing and teaching and composing. I became a songwriter and all of that.
Mm.
And then eventually I had an interest all many years in the healthcare. And I attended a lecture one day where a bunch of nurses had turned into therapeutic musicians, and I was fascinated. And
Oh.
eventually I became certified as a clinical musician. And the last 15 years in America, I was really, in addition to performing and everything
Mm.
else that I was doing, I focused on doing therapeutic music in hospices and
Mm.
hospitals and for anyone who could use music for reducing stress, reducing pain, and
Yeah.
but the one I really loved the most was working with people who were living out their last days of life in
Mm.
this form, in physical form. And I loved the work, and I would love to continue at any time, but I need, of course, language. And
Yeah.
so here in South Korea, I can't do it yet.
Mm.
But I hope one day I'll be able to continue doing that work as well. So
Mm.
um, career-wise, it's been wonderful because as a musician, I've been able to meet so many good people and
Mm.
go to places where I think many people would not be able to go or want to go or
Mm.
even find. I've gone to in Israel. I played with a group of religious women, very Orthodox
Mm.
religious women, and we played for women only and wrote music for women. We explored what was womanhood, what was being women about, and what was the spiritual connection for
Yeah.
women. And we learned so much, and we were able to go into communities that most people don't go to because of the
Uh,
music. And like I said, I wouldn't have got to South Africa, I don't think, without that connection.
yeah.
And now in Korea, I came to Korea actually to offer a Korean musician here,
Mm.
Shia Kim Jun-soo. I wanted to offer him an original song for him to produce in
Mm.
his own way. I'm still hoping that's going to happen.
It
Still
will.
working
It
on that.
will.
It better. It's been about 8 years I've been trying to do that. So
I mean,
I hope that will happen.
I mean,
Uh,
I mean, if you've been trying for 8 years, it definitely should work in your favor.
I'm going to ask everyone who's watching if you have any connection to make him connect with me and just I have a song. It's not that I'm a crazed fan or something like that.
Mm.
I come from a musical perspective and I come as
Mm.
a colleague. And one of the reasons why I came to South Korea was to give him this song and also to
Mm.
learn from him because
Mm.
I view him as a very passionate singer, a very professional and creatively
Mm.
so absolutely creative that I felt that if he would take this song and if he would be so kind as to allow me to
Mm.
watch the process that he would go through, I could learn so much. And so
Yeah.
it was a way of really learning to be more passionate myself
Mm.
in expressing myself through my music. And that was a goal that I am still aspiring to.
Mm.
Is coming out of myself, getting out of my own way, so to
Yeah.
speak,
Yeah.
to be able to express myself more passionately.
Mm.
So that's one
I
of the
yeah.
things I'm looking for here.
Mm.
Mm.
Um, Tell us about the feature you had with Pep Magazine. How did you manage to get to that?
That's not really my feature, actually. I work here in South Korea. In order to live here, I was able to acquire a visa, an entertainment visa, so I work in entertainment. I work as
Okay.
an actor and a model and also a musician. So
Mm.
part of what I do, my work is to do commercials, television shows, movies, films,
Mm.
music videos, all sorts of anything in the entertainment business.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm usually a granny. I'm usually called in to be the granny. And so I'm kind of typecast these days.
Mm.
And so there was a photographer who was doing a film project, a short film project. His name is Huang To,
Mm.
and he asked me if I would participate in his film project. And of course, I love to participate in everything and anything,
Yeah.
whether I get paid or not. So it's a good experience. And so I was brought in to be an older woman on a vacation at the beach. And if you
Mm.
get a chance to see the video, it's on my YouTube channel. It's called The Summer Holiday. It's really
Oh,
so
definitely.
cute.
I should watch.
We He wanted me to wear a bathing suit and everything. I was like, no, 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 no. But
Oh.
in the end, I agreed, and the movie came out really cute. And so it's really his project,
Mm.
and he submitted it to Pap Magazine, and that's how it got featured there.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah,
That's
yeah. So
amazing.
he really, it's his project, and he was able to get it featured on that magazine, which was
Mm.
very exciting. It's a very eclectic, kind of interesting magazine.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah, very interesting,
wonderful.
creative
Mm.
works I can see on that magazine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
should definitely watch it though. You should definitely send it to me. Send the link to me so that I can watch it. You also have
Ah,
a
yeah.
theory. Oh, sorry. Were you?
Hmm.
Oh no, I
Oh
was
no, no, no.
sorry. About your IG series. What is song catching? What is that all about? Like, what is song catching?
Ah, song catching again. I don't take credit for the. I
Mm.
don't remember exactly how I came across it, but I came across a poem called Song
Mm.
Catcher or Song Catching by an American Indian. They like to be called Native American Indians
Oh,
according to their tribe. I don't know. And it was about a concept. The poem is absolutely beautiful. Again, you can find the link to it, or I don't know if I have it available right
mm.
now, but the idea, if I understand correctly, and I'll mispronounce his name as I always do. His name is Arlie Nahaksi, I think. Anyway, you can put a link to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the idea, if I understood correctly, is that songs are out there in the universe. Energetically, they're floating everywhere around us.
Mm.
And musicians and artists, it's kind of our job in a way to receive those songs or to catch them.
Mm. Mm.
And when we catch them, because of who we are,
Mm.
we're able to, through us, bring them into this 3D kind of physical world that we live in, our
Mm.
reality.
Mm.
And I feel that then it's upon us to share it,
Yes.
share these things that we receive. I feel like it's a gift. And so
Mm.
people, I'm called a singer-songwriter or something like that, but I think and I believe I can speak for many musicians
Mm.
that many of us don't feel that these are our songs, that we actually wrote them. I
Mm.
think we wrote them down, and we
Mm.
wrote them down,
Mm.
but I don't feel many of them I wrote. So I like that the concept of song catching, we caught the song and shared it with the rest of the world in our own way, in a way that we could do it. I'm a musician, so I do it musically. Some artists might have visions and they will paint it,
Yes.
or any other way, but I think that is the concept. And so I started a series on IGTV, Instagram TV, called Catching. And I have many songs. I have at least 300 songs that came to me, and some of
That's a
them they
lot.
come in. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna, share all 300, but I decided that it might be of interest to people to understand this concept and to understand how artists, talented people, people of the artistic talent. I mean, I think scientists and other subjects, other professions are also very talented in their own profession. We as artists, I think people have a curiosity. They think it's just like so easy. It just comes to us. It's not that easy. But I thought it might be interesting to share the songs that I've received and been gifted with
Yeah.
anybody who might be interested in the song, to analyze the lyrics, the musical format, and to talk about my musical life. Honestly, many of the songs that I received, I didn't even understand myself. And so until I lived through many certain life experiences, I finally understood some of them, which is maybe why I couldn't sing them properly with the right passion and the right expression. And so even as I do this series now, I feel that I'm learning about these songs myself too, sometimes. Because some came in dreams, some came as just sort of visions, some just came as I was looking at a candle flame or driving a car, or
Ah.
or just sort of lying in bed, just not thinking about anything, or and some came complete and whole. Some came as little pieces
Yeah, yeah.
that I would record and save and then later look at and say, what the heck was that?
Yeah.
Maybe be able to develop. So it's a process, and it's an interesting process, and that's why I call it song catching.
Because
That's the
it's
long-winded answer to your question.
yeah, because it's like music that is being sent from the universe that might seem as if
Yeah,
it's a natural thing, but it's actually the universe, pouring all of these things into your spirit. Oh my God,
exactly.
I like that part because like we are one with the universe, we are the creators of our own lives. So when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, like we speak the same language. I love when a person speaks of spirituality, the universe, all of those types of things. It's just like, oh, it's just so amazing. I want to ask, when it comes to writing music, like what is that go-to type of music that you would always like to write about? Is it about your
Mm.
life or, about your experiences that you've experienced throughout the years or what?
I am very not mainstream. My
Mm,
music is uh, not really conventional, not really
mm,
standard. It's even though I thought it was folk
mm.
music. Even my producer in America, my sound man, I said, "Don't I just play folk music?" He said, "No, no, no. You just in a category of your own." And so, what do I write about? What the songs that come to me, I think, are also in a category of their own. They're not really about my personal life, so to
Mm,
speak. I don't say, well, my boyfriend left me, or it's not sort of my life experiences.
mm,
Some of them are, but many are more kind of, how do I want to say this? I think they're more on a different level.
mm,
I don't mean to boast like this, but once I was at a folk club, and the MC said, you've raised the level here of the music.
mm.
It's sort of on an intellectual, spiritual level,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that it's in a way it's messages, and
Mm,
different visions, different. And if you want to say you're asking what's my favorite topic, that is my favorite topic, is just something more kind of mystical, kind of spiritual, something that
Yeah.
I need to kind of probe, or it's metaphorical. What does this
Mm.
mean?
Mm.
Something that's going to challenge me and motivate me and inspire me to be curious about something and
Mm.
look further and beyond. So I think that is maybe one reason why my music might need a certain niche,
Yeah.
of people who are looking for that kind of inspiration, that kind of motivation,
Mm.
because it's not in your face, so to speak. I just don't say, like a country song, I killed my wife and buried her deep down below, and then the sheriff came and put me in jail. It's not, it's not that kind of thing. Or, I got the blues, my baby done left me. Oh, she spent all my money and left me, so I kicked her out. It's not that kind of, it's not that kind of thing. It's really, I
Spiritual.
have something called deja vu. I have something called this journey of you, which is,
Mm.
I have something that's called home, which uh, can be home, a physical home, or it
Mm.
can be a spiritual home. It's a connection
Mm.
between a relationship between you and God, or it's a relationship
Mm.
between two people.
Mm.
It can really have takes many levels of meaning. So
Mm.
that's really the kind of songs that interest me. I also am interested in songs that um, take you on a journey in a way. The melody goes in different directions. The rhythm might
Mm.
change in the middle and come back again. Rhythmically, it's different. I also like funky music, something that has a beat. I like to dance to it.
Yeah.
But I am really interested in music that is different.
Yes.
Um, it doesn't do what you think it's going to do.
Mm.
It's going to take you on a journey somewhere. So I
Mm.
think my music does that. My music is also calming. Um, I found that, I guess I have a certain style that's very relaxing. And I used to
Mm.
think, oh my God, people are yawning and falling asleep. I must be so boring. And then I realized that's when I realized that I was good at therapeutic music. My
Yeah.
music was good at providing calm and stress relief and just letting you relax. So I was no longer insulted or feeling sort of worried that I was being boring. Instead,
Yeah.
it was that I was being relaxing. So
Mm.
um, that's my style. But I do like rock and folk, and I like funky, and I like all kinds of music.
Mm.
So, except that my personal style has sort of evolved into that.
That relaxing
So that's
vibe.
a
Yeah.
relaxing vibe and sort of intellectual kind of thinking
Yeah.
music, uh,
Ah.
and and leaning towards spirituality.
Yes.
Yeah,
I like that.
spirituality in the sense of
I like
thank
that.
you. It's I also do, having been part of a religious women's band,
Hmm.
we put music to biblical verses, and
Hmm.
I find that also interesting. But I find that my lyrics sort of lend itself to many interpretations,
Hmm.
and in that way, it's kind of spiritual because it to find your own way with it.
Hmm. You know, especially now during this time, I think a lot of people that has too much going on in their minds or spiritually, mentally, and all those types of things. I feel like, having listening to relaxing music just to help calm yourself down. I think that is the best thing you can do for yourself. And that's why I like when you like I like the fact that your music is for people like to relax themselves. Um yeah, I also would like where can we find that type of like where can we find your music? that can help soothe and
Where,
relax us, you know?
ah, yeah. Well, of course, I have a website
Okay.
and RahelMusic.com.
Okay.
And people, if you RahelMusic.com,
Hmm.
and I have much of my music that's been recorded at least is on Bandcamp. And so there's a link. If you click on that link, it says download music.
Hmm.
It'll bring you there and you can listen to it. There's also music you can listen to on my site.
Hmm.
And of course, if you want to keep it, you can download it and help the artist that way.
Yeah.
Help us in this difficult time.
Hmm.
And yeah. And I want to say that I learned through my work as a clinical musician,
Hmm.
therapeutic musician, healthcare artist, however you want to look at that, that relaxing music, although mine is very soothing and calming and maybe
Hmm.
quiet, you do finger picking and it's not very rowdy or, rock and roll or something like that, very loud.
Hmm.
But sometimes I found in my work that people wanted me to play like Led Zeppelin or
Hmm.
James Brown or, something more lively and upbeat, and
Hmm.
they calmed down that way.
Hmm.
So it's hard to tell. Everybody has their own style of music
Yeah.
that calms them down, but I think the main thing is that it's music.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling stressed and your head is overwhelmed and you're too busy,
Hmm.
then it's music. But I think the one thing I find that if you don't, I listen to music in many languages that I don't
Hmm.
even understand.
Hmm.
And in a way, that also calms me down because if I don't really understand what's being said,
Yeah.
my mind also starts to empty up and wander and free itself.
Hmm.
So I sing in Hebrew also. So many of my songs are in Hebrew. And some people, they say, even if you don't understand the language, you can
Hmm.
still get a lot from it.
Yeah. True. Tell
Even,
us.
my friends, yeah, I listen to a lot of Korean music and I love it
Hmm.
because I find traditional music is very interesting with
Hmm.
different kinds of instruments and sounds and every instrument has its own energy
Hmm.
that it gives you something. But also the K-pop, for example, the earlier K-pop anyway, not so much the K-pop today, but
Hmm.
I found that it was very interesting because I didn't know what they're saying, but it helped me with my singing because I would sing phonetically along and I found out how my voice would work that way.
Yeah.
And also because, as I said, there's a beat and then it would change and it would
Hmm.
be like they stuck two or three different songs
Hmm.
with all different beats together and the melody went in every which way and I found that very interesting. And
Hmm.
I also the harmonies. I love harmony.
Hmm.
And I live for harmony. I used to be a harmony singer before I had to be a soloist. And Crosby, Stills and Nash, things like that. I love harmony. So I find music that has harmony really touches me a lot.
Hmm. Hmm. What can we expect from you after lockdown?
After lockdown, I have the travel itch again.
Go
I
ahead.
feel like
Go ahead.
lockdown is really like it's like we're kind of free to roam around here in Korea, but I want to travel, see my kids. I want to go
Hmm.
to Israel. I hope in January I can go to Israel. I want to
Hmm.
see my son who wants to get married next June. I hope I can make it,
Oh,
I hope we'll be able to do that.
yeah.
And I'd like to continue traveling a little bit. I haven't seen a lot of Asia that I wanted to see. I haven't seen
Hmm.
the Australia, New Zealand. I'd like to come back to South Africa. My
Yeah.
friends are waiting for me there, and I could meet you.
Yeah.
I want to, I still have the travel itch as long as I'm still healthy and able to
Hmm.
do this. I kind of want to become more active. I feel like
Yeah.
the COVID has grounded us
Yeah.
too
True.
much, and after eight months of being grounded, I'm kind of like
Hmm.
I want to do something. So,
Yeah.
of course,
Hmm.
musically, I will continue, and I would love to make more musical collaborations with people.
Hmm.
Um, that's really, I really enjoy playing with other musicians, and that has been difficult to do also with COVID.
Mm.
It's not the same doing these things electronically. I like to be in person.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you feel people's energy. You bounce
Yes,
off of each other in a different
yes,
way.
true.
So I would love to be able, after this whole COVID thing lets up,
Mm.
I would love to be able to do that, to travel a little bit more, to collaborate more musically, and
Mm.
to be with my family,
Yeah,
be able to be with my family.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any advice to upcoming musicians and entertainers all around the world? Like, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, most definitely. Um, I'm gonna say one thing that I saw Johnny Depp say on an
Mm.
interview was that be persistent,
Mm.
do what you love, and no matter if you fail, just get up again and do it. Just do what you
Mm.
love,
Mm.
I think is the main thing. And even if people, as a musician, my family was not necessarily supportive because of the uh, difficulties and challenges of having income.
Yeah.
And I always heard this: "You made your choices," but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Mm.
It's if you're a musician, you're an artist. This is who you are, and
Mm.
you cannot live without doing that. You
Mm.
have to be who you are. Do not compromise. I
Mm.
was told that, we all have to make compromises in life. Don't compromise your life. Life is short. I'm 66 now. I'm like, how did I
Mm.
get there?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Last I remember, I was 22, and then now I'm 66. And, life is short really fast. So
Mm.
do what
That.
you love and be persistent about it.
Mm.
Just keep persisting. Eventually you're not going to be a superstar. You're not going to be a celebrity, whatever, but that
Mm.
doesn't matter because
Make the
you're
most.
doing what you love. You're
Yeah.
living life. And one other thing I would say, my daughter once gave me a bumper sticker that
Mm.
said on it, "Don't postpone joy." That was in 2010,
Mm.
10 years ago. And I looked at that bumper sticker and I said, that's the most important thing is to
Mm.
keep joy in your life. Be happy as
Mm.
much as you can. We all go through challenges and difficulties and sad times and hardships, and we lose people and things
Yeah.
happen to us, bad
Yeah.
things. But we have to find joy in life because, if you're not happy, you'll get sick and physically ill.
Mm.
And God forbid you die. If you die, that's your time. But how have you lived life? Somebody said, when you die, you go up to God and God and say, how, what'd you do? You know,
Yeah.
I did this or that or the other thing. But did you live life? Did you enjoy life?
Mm.
Did you do what you love?
Mm.
So I think people say, "Oh, you're so courageous. Look what you're doing." And I say, "I'm not courageous at all. I'm just following my faith. I'm
Yeah.
following my heart, what I love to do, and I have
Mm.
faith that when I do that, it's going to be okay whether I have money or not. I'm going to be
Mm.
okay." Because another movie, there was about an artist and they said, "You're poor all the time." And she said, "No, I'm not poor. I'm rich. I have my
Mm.
art."
Mm.
And I think, I have the music and that makes me rich, whether I
Yeah.
have physical money or not. Of course, having
Mm.
money is certainly something nice, but it's not what I'm going after. It
Mm.
makes life easier for sure, but it's not what I would pursue in life. I mean, if you love money, then okay, go after it. What can I say? If that's what you love to do, then do it. Do what you
Yeah.
love. Go after money.
Mm. Yeah, no.
But do what you love. Do what you love. And keep joy in front of you. Keep joy.
Mm.
And, I know it sounds weird to say, but keep God in front of you. God is the
Mm.
one who's master of everything.
Yes.
You
100%
know,
agree.
yeah.
I mean, especially during this time that it's been hard for a lot of people, but throughout this time there are little miracles and joys that happened in their times, and like we have to make the most of this pandemic and this lockdown until we are ready to, until God is ready for us to go back outside again. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Completely.
Yeah, life is short and we should be, enjoying it and make the most of it. So yeah, thank you so
It's
much.
very short.
Thank you so
It's
much.
very short. Thank you. Yeah, one thing I learned from my mother who died 5 years ago, she
Mm.
had various illnesses and eventually she died at age 88, but
Mm.
she always said, I just want to live. I just want to live. And no matter what happened to her, she just kept on living. She just
Mm.
fought her way through it and kept living because she loved life.
Yeah.
She loved life and living.
Mm.
And, we only have this life here. Let's just make the most of it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Rahel. It's been spiritually so amazing to be speaking to you, and like, I feel like spiritually I can definitely connect with you because I love when a person can have a spiritual conversation. Yeah, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for, spending this hour with us virtually. I really do appreciate it, and we should definitely, keep in contact, and all of the best to your journey, and and for trying 8 years on getting that guy. It should be happening. It should happen for you. It should.
It it better. I think I have to stay in Korea till it happens. So,
Yes. I
Shia
mean,
Shia Kim Jun Soo, we're looking for you. Anybody out there? You know where to find me.
the universe will make it possible. The universe shall make it
From your
possible.
mouth, we say from your mouth to God's ears.
Yes. He had it already. He had it. Thank you so much. It was really nice speaking to you.
And I loved meeting you too. We should definitely stay in touch. And you're
Yes.
doing amazingly. What you're doing on your
Thank you.
show is really great. So
Thank
thank you so much for
you.
having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day in Korea.
Yes. Thank you so much. Bye
Bye.
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 I always say Siabongo. No, Siabonga, that's Dimba, that's Zulu. I
I
learned
don't know.
something.
I think it's
That's not
Siabonga.
wrong language.
Sure. I'm not sure also.
Siabonga, Ubuntu, Ubuntu. I learned 2 words.
Maybe we should ask our viewers because
Ubuntu
I don't
together.
know. Ubuntu.
What? Sorry?
I-
Ubuntu means togetherness. Let's stay together. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
learned
should, yeah.
2 words in Zulu from Future and the group and the guys. Hi, guys out there. I hope you're watching because it's your country. You should definitely meet each other.
Goodness. Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye, Kristen. Bye bye.
Yeah, I think you should you must press
I have to,
the end button.
I press the end button. I think you press the end button.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I don't know how to go out. Okay, I'll go out. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, Rahel is just so amazing, guys. It was so amazing. It is good to be back. It is good to be back, guys. It is great to be back. I want to say thank you to all of you guys that has tuned in. Please do stay tuned. Our next interview is, we are back at 7 p.m. on Friday again. And yeah, thank you to Rahel from Korea. Thank you so much. And thank you to our sponsor, Shades of Chill, for sponsoring the show, and we shall continue being great. And yeah, may you all continue and enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you, and bye.